in rural Guatemala had lamps on construction schedules, getting ready for the work ahead while snacking on probably the best pineapple you have ever tasted. It's one of these nights in particular I remember when we were working on a pedestrian bridge project that would serve to connect two communities divided by steep slopes and a rapid river. Something had gone not as expected in the bridge's substructure construction, and we needed to make sure we hadn't compromised our factor of safety. We spent the night sifting through Excel files and making Skype calls back to the US and redoing calculations. It was tense and it was stressful, yet very much our norm. Engineers Without Borders, or EWB for short, is an engineering organization that serves by partnering the expertise of its volunteers with the communities it serves. It's through these partnerships that we're able to provide real solutions to problems facing these communities and to empower them to come up with sustainable, long-term, community-centered solutions. We're able to walk with people on their journey and to make decisions that can provide a lasting change. As volunteers, we commit ourselves to giving of our more technical skills in order to benefit our communities. And that's skilled service. It's using what we know to benefit others in the best way that we can. This summer, I've had the opportunity to get to know the community of La Tribuna. They're just outside of a larger city, and they currently have no access to spring-fed water distribution. They aren't able to get clean water on a regular basis, if at all. During the rainy season, they'll collect rainwater, and then during the dry season, they get water via water trucks like this one, once, maybe twice a week. In both cases, the water's not clean, and La Tribuna is definitely not satisfied. They're looking for something better. So they're developing a spring-fed water distribution system that will be implemented in the next year or so. It's through this that we can serve. We can walk with this community, we can advocate for them, we can help them in any way that we can, but at the end of the day, they're the ones in charge of the project. They know their issues and they know what they're trying to accomplish better than anyone, so we let them take the lead. Okay, 4 out of 5 families in La Tribuna will send a family member to the hospital with gastrointestinal disease this year. Statistically speaking, that's a huge problem. Children are definitely the most vulnerable. Malnutrition is also a big problem when you don't have good water quality. On top of that, when you don't have enough water, like basic hygiene practices such as cleaning, bathing, washing dishes, they become difficult or impossible. That being said, we were very excited to get started on this project. We felt honored and humbled to be part of such an awesome solution. It's an incredible way to be able to give of yourself. And this community has it going on. We love La Tribuna. Before we got to the community this summer, they had already hired a local engineer to start surveying, and they had purchased land for a spring. They were on top of their game, and this was going to be an incredible project. We had super positive outlooks. We were going to have fun. Now, did we expect everything to be sunshine and rainbows? No, definitely not. Was it? Also no, definitely not. Things got tricky fast, and I think that's where the skilled part of skilled service comes into play. For example, chlorine is an awesome way to get water clean, right? It kills bacteria, it makes it safe to drink. This might be a really good solution for La Tribuna, so in a meeting, we brought it up. And I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I can tell people's facial expressions in just about any language. They were pretty hesitant, and we understood that. We get why. Not too long ago, a similar community was starting up a water system, and they were using chlorine, and something went wrong. The chlorine wasn't mixed well, and you ended up with some people who got extra chlorinated water, and you ended up with some people who got no chlorine in their water. In both cases, you can't drink that. That's not okay. And it broke people's trust. Since then, word has spread, and people are pretty hesitant about the idea of chlorination at first. You have to work through those kinks and those problems before you can be comfortable with the water that you're drinking. We're able to do that now as we're going through the design of this project. We take the time to find something that is going to be robust and easy to maintain. It's going to be easy to fix when something does go wrong, because we know something's going to go wrong. That's an awesome way for us to be able to use our skills. In this case, the biggest skill we used was listening. The power to listen and understand the needs of a community and where their hesitations are coming from, that's really important. Another really awesome skill we can use to serve others is problem solving. Engineers tend to be pretty good at that. We know which questions to ask, which variables to consider, and which data might need to be collected in order to come to an answer later on down the road. We use that pretty often during our time in La Tribuna, and sometimes that was difficult to do because it took us reframing our entire way of thinking. Sorry. There we go. It took us reframing our entire way of thinking, and that was a challenge. So I'm an engineering student, as you all know. I like things that are designed to be efficient and elegant and pretty and simple. Luckily, that exists all the time in textbooks. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anywhere else, and La Tribuna is definitely no exception. We thought it might be a really great idea to hook up the water system in La Tribuna to the water system in the large city nearby. Before we arrived there, we talked a lot about it. We thought it could be a neat option because it would make maintenance costs a lot lower for the community. They'd be part of something larger. There's these awesome sand filters in the community that has this large system. That could be really great. Those clean water really well. There was a whole host of reasons why we were excited about this possibility. So we brought it up to community leaders like these women as an option. And there again, we got faces like, wow, no, that's never going to work. Please, no, don't do that. And I'll admit that it took a long time for us to truly understand and to agree with them that this was not going to work. This was not our answer. The reason why is that everything tends to be political. If you have a public water system, it's run partially or mostly by the government, and that means that when people change positions, the way things are managed also changes. So this system at the time wasn't maintained well, it wasn't managed very well, and people just didn't trust it long term. We heard from the mayor himself that people didn't find public systems to be reliable. So they would rather make their own system because that was going to answer their needs. It's tricky to be able to come to that conclusion, and it was frustrating because we wanted what was best for La Tribuna and we thought we had an answer. But you had to consider all the variables, and you had to consider that the best way to get water is to get it yourself. It's to group together with the people that you know, and to buy a spring when it's available, and to make pipes go to the places you want them to go, and maintain that long term. We knew that this way, this system is going to work in 5-10 years, because people are going to take care of it. They're going to have ownership over it, and it's not going to be relying on some entity that they don't have control over. By making their own water system, La Tribuna is getting control, and that's important. That's what they need. It was through the frustration, though, that I came to understand why we were doing this, and I want to hand that off to you. Skilled service is very valuable, and each one of you has the power to engage in that. You have some sort of skill, and if you're a Marquette student, you're working to develop that skill just about every day. You might have skills in design or IT, marketing, finance, and you might be sitting in the audience thinking, okay, there's no such thing as graphic designers without borders. And you're probably right, there isn't. But that being said, you could find some Milwaukee nonprofits, probably in the next week, that would love to have your advice and be interested to have your input. Go out and find those. I know a dietitian who works at the River West Food Pantry, a man who used to own a woodworking business, who now spends his time with Habitat for Humanity, and an ex-gymnast who teaches a Special Olympics gymnastics team. It's natural to do what we're good at, right? This seems simple, it's not revolutionary. But it is powerful because you have the ability to foster change in ways that other people can't, just by using the skills that you have. It's not about finding perfect solutions because those simply don't exist. It's about finding solutions that work in the here and the now. And it's about understanding that things are going to be difficult and they're going to be frustrating. If you didn't need to struggle a little bit to solve the problem, your skills probably wouldn't be necessary and it would be solved right now. So doing skilled service is necessarily going to require you to get a little frustrated, and that's okay. I want to encourage you in that and to say, don't be afraid of it. Persevere through it and don't give up. Understand that you're going to throw your hands up in the air from time to time and not know what to do. I think in the frustration and the messiness of skilled service, you find the root of another person's struggle. It's in the mess that you understand where that other person is coming from, and you can walk with them in their journey. It's in the mess that you find compassion and find empathy, and it's in mess that your work begins.